Up with police in Richmond Hill. Police are investigating after two men were stabbed to death in Mississauga. Toronto police are asking the public for help in locating a missing 72-year-old man. And we'll tell you which Canadians are being honored with the Order of Canada.
In New Jersey, the Leafs managed a 5-4 overtime win over the Devils after an own goal, and the Blue Jays officially in their arm to Toronto sports at 15.
And coming up in business, survey says salary is not the number one consideration for most people considering a job change. I'll chat with the president of A's Canada.
680 News Time, 5:01. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carlin Donahue. This report is brought to you by CastleLife.com. It's still a decent drive out there on the major routes. Eastbound on the 401 this morning, east of Brock Street, a left lane is closed. Now, that's going to be closed for about a week because they're doing some pothole repairs. There's no delays right now, but come Monday morning when the rush hour starts, it's going to start to pile up there. So just keep that in mind. For the weekend, it looks like you'll be good to go, but come Monday, might be an area you want to avoid. Westbound on the 401, approaching Guelph Line, we have a left lane closed off for some construction. And other than that, your major routes have nothing to report right now. The 404 DVP combo looking good. QEW Gardner. Of course, we have that long-term construction on the Gardner, but everyone is well aware of by now. Coming off of our major routes, east and westbound Commissioner Street is closed from
York
Mission
ramp
Street
and
to
the
Dover
Jarvis ramp
Roadway.
closed or some shit? Is there a bridge door in the fucking left-hand lane? The third left-hand lane or some shit?
Young and Gerard, the lights are out, so just be sure to treat that as a four-way stop. And another traffic spotter calling in saying that O'Connor and Donlands is blocked off for some police activity, so just keep that in mind as well. Castle Life Furniture and Accessories December sale and soon get up to 30% off across the store on all new orders. Come see what's in store or online at CastleLife.com. Your next report at 5:11 with the forecast, Michelle Mackey.
Well, today is certainly the nicest day of the weekend. We start the day with partly cloudy skies and a temperature around 0, feeling like -4, and then mainly sunny into the afternoon with an above seasonal high of 4 degrees. You'll be quite comfortable in a winter jacket, and the winds fairly calm, around 10 kilometers an hour, gusting to 20 out of the southwest.
Right now, downtown Toronto, it's 4 degrees, feeling more like 0 under an overcast sky. And over at Pearson, overcast skies, 3 degrees, feeling more like 1 degree. 680 News Time, 5:03. After nearly a day-long standoff,
I like this at 420. Holy fuck.
arrested the man who barricaded himself in a home after a gunfight with an
Although I
officer in
guess we're
Richmond
off by
Hill.
like 5 or
Officers
7
say it
minutes.
started Friday afternoon near Bayview and Major Mac, where a routine traffic stop quickly became a shootout between an officer and the suspect. Staff Sergeant Andy Bell with York Regional Police says officers will
We
remain
have
in the
out-of-pocket
area and that
shootouts at gas
investigation
stations
is not
too.
over.
We will be holding the scene for a period of time while we check for evidence and potential secondary threats.
Earlier Friday, after the exchange of gunfire, the suspect fled to a nearby house where he holed up for almost 12 hours. Armored police surrounded the house all afternoon and evening and were able to negotiate the man's surrender peacefully. Because an officer used their gun, the Special Investigations Unit have invoked their mandate and will be conducting their own investigation. Meantime, 2 men are dead after being stabbed in Mississauga. Police responded to a disturbance just before 1 a.m. around College Way and Council Ring. 2 men were located at a residence suffering from stab wounds. One man was pronounced dead at the scene, while another man was taken to hospital and succumbed to his injuries. There's no suspect information at this time, and police are now saying they are not looking for any outstanding suspects. 680 News Time, 5:04. Friends and family are mourning the loss of Toronto trans activist Julie Berman. Berman, an outspoken activist for the LGBTQ+ community, was killed after an alleged assault on Sunday. Pride Toronto tweeted a statement saying she was a proud trans woman and they will remember Julie with heavy hearts. 29-year-old Colin Harnack appeared in court on Monday for second-degree murder charges. 6 City News Time, 5:05. Toronto police are searching for a man who went missing from the area of Morningside and Shepherd Avenue. 72-year-old Justin Powell was last seen on Friday around 9:30 in the morning. Powell is described as 5'5", around 120 pounds, with a medium complexion, unshaven, and wearing glasses. He was last seen wearing a black winter jacket, a black toque, navy pants, and gray shoes with red stripes. Anyone with information on Powell is asked to contact police. You're listening to 680 News. It was a somber event in Oshawa as dozens attended a candlelight vigil to honor slain rapper Bully. Malia Sheikh from City News has more.
The vigil was held at the same housing complex where the rap artist, whose real name is Shakur Stewart, was found shot to death in the early morning hours of Christmas Eve. Bully was known for his hit song No Light Bag. He was 24 years old.
He would play with me if I asked him to. Even if he wasn't there sometimes I would still love him even if he's not there. And
Well, you get to do that all the time now, kid.
Right here, he's still gonna be with me.
No arrests have been made in connection to Bully's murder. Durham police continue to investigate. Malia Sheikh, City News.
6 City News Time, 5:06. 6 complainants are suing a Nova Scotia man whose convictions for sexual assault were quashed 6 years ago by the Supreme Court of Canada because his Charter of Rights to Speedy Trial were violated. Ernest Fenwick McIntosh was extradited from India in 2007 to face charges in Canada of indecent assault and gross indecency for allegations he sexually abused boys in Cape Breton in the 1970s. In 2015, he was convinced of sexual abuse in Nepal and sentenced to 7 years in prison, but was released and returned to Canada last year. The 6 Canadian complainants say McIntosh is liable for sexual battery, false imprisonment, and intentional infliction and mental injury. They are each seeking $300,000 in general and aggravated damages, special damages, and the amount to be determined, and $50,000 in punitive damages. You're listening to 680 News. The Associated Press has found that more than 900 clergy members accused of child sexual abuse are missing from the lists of credibly accused priests released by the Roman Catholic Diocese and religious orders. Victims' advocates had long criticized the church for not making public the names of credibly accused priests. Now, despite the release of nearly 5,300 names, critics say the lists are still far from complete. The AP found that more than 100 of the former clergy members not named on any list had been charged with sexual crimes, including rape, solicitation, and receiving or viewing child pornography. 680 News Time, 5:08. All you need is 15 minutes of exercise to get in shape for the new year. But 680's Jim Benny found if you can't even set aside that amount of time, there are other things you can do.
Why do you write 200 fucking page quotes, buddy?
Calories, lost more weight and kept it off longer than women who ate 600 calories of carbs.
What happens is that carbohydrates end up raising your blood sugar, and you're almost immediately hungry after you're finished eating. But protein, like eggs, that sticks with you.
And he says, avoid eating out.
When you eat at a restaurant, you consume 500 or more calories than you would if you ate at home.
But exercise, he says, can extend your life by 3 years. I'm Jim Benny.
You're listening to 680 News. The 120 new additions or promotions to the Order of Canada include politicians, athletes, and scientists, as well as journalists, those in the arts, field, and philanthropists. Pioneering biologist Anne Dagg, known as the Queen of Giraffes, joins several other women being honored for their work in science, including 2018 Nobel Prize winner Donna Strickland and pediatrician Dr. Noni MacDonald, who has served multiple roles within the World Health Organization. Also among the honorees is former Prime Minister Stephen Harper and Olympic hockey star Carolyn Ouellette. Coming up, traffic and weather together on the one. 680 News Time, 5:09. 680 News, Toronto.
My resolutions for 2020: shop smarter, cook better, eat healthier with Good Food meal kits. I get all the farm fresh ingredients I need to cook delicious recipes, like seared salmon with almond pesto, from breakfast to dinner and everything in between. Good Food delivers for free and to my doorstep. With Good Food, I also save about 15% on grocery essentials like olive oil, healthy snacks, and more. Drop the shop. Go to makegoodfood.ca now and get 40% off your first order. That's makegoodfood.ca.
Now taking a look at the 680 News gas price update, as Empro predicted, the price of gas didn't budge at midnight. It's only at $1.19.9 a liter at most GTA stations. 680 News time, 5:10.
At Rogers, get business-grade internet solutions like Rogers Business Internet Pro Gigabit plus Office 365. Now just $119.99 a month on a 3-year term. Visit rogers.com/internet-for-biz.
You can make more.
Rogers Sugar Plum Fairy transformed Canada's Wonderland
Like,
into the
wow,
world's
it's so fucking hot, eh?
Need lights, millions of them.
Let's quick get that going again.
And the peanut skating, and ice skating, and carolers heading here. And more lights, and a heap of live shows and family rides. Like lights.
Hurry for magical laughs from the world of Canada's Wonderland's Winterfest. Select dates through December 31st. Don't miss the final days of Winterfest. Open daily Thursday through December 31st. Save on tickets at canadaswonderland.com. At Rogers, get business-grade internet solutions like Rogers Business Internet Pro Gigabit plus Office 365. Now just $119.99 a month on a 3-year term. Visit rogers.com/internet-for-biz.
You can make more.
680 News time, 5:11. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones, handing things over to Carlin Donahue. This report is brought to you by the Salvation Army Thrift Store. We'll start this report off with our city streets, as that's where the majority of the action's happening this morning. East and westbound Commissioners is closed from Munition to Don Roadway. North and southbound Don Roadway closed from Commissioners to the Lakeshore. That's for some long-term construction set to reopen in May. Traffic spotters been calling in saying that the traffic lights are out at Yonge and Girard, so just make sure to treat that as a 4-way stop and you should be good to go. And another traffic spotter calling saying that O'Connor and Donlands is blocked off for some form of police activity, so just keep that in mind as well. Jumping onto our major routes, if you're on the eastbound 401, once you hit Brock Street, there's a left lane closed due to some pothole repairs. That's going to be there for about a week. There's no delays at this time. And then westbound on the 401, approaching Guelph line, a left lane is closed as well. Declutter after the holiday season while making a difference in your community by donating to the Salvation Army Thrift Store. Donor welcome centers are open daily. Find one at thriftstore.ca. Your next report at 5:21 with the forecast. Michelle Mackey.
Well, today is hands down the nicest day of the weekend. Mainly sunny with an above seasonal high of 4 degrees. You'll be very comfortable in a winter jacket. Sunday, a different story. We start the day with cloud cover before rain moves in early afternoon. 15 to 20 millimeters. The winds will be howling by the evening with easterly gusts 50 to 60 kilometers an hour. And then north of the GTA, so Cottage Country through the Ottawa area, we are at risk for prolonged freezing rain. Sunday's high is 3 degrees.
Downtown Toronto right now, it is 4 degrees, feeling more like 0 with an overcast sky, and over at Pearson Airport, 3 feeling like -1. Tim Hortons president Alex Macedo is set to leave his post after just 2 years at the helm. This move comes as the beloved coffee chain struggles to grow sales with under 9% growth overall in the third quarter. His exit will be effective of March of 2020. There's no word yet on who will be his replacement. Still to come on 680 News, the latest on the plane crash in Kazakhstan, killing at least 12 people. 680 News time at 5:13.
It's not good till it's been sitting for 20
minutes. 2001 Audio Video's biggest and best Boxing Week sale. There's still inventory reduced to the absolute.
I don't have a glass pot, or I would do
amazing door crashers. So hurry in for the best selection. From wireless and audio products to 4K smart TVs with 2-year warranty, many below cost. 2001 with the guaranteed lowest Boxing Week price. 2001. Over the past 5 years, drivers have killed more than 200 pedestrians and cyclists on the streets of Toronto. That's a 43% increase compared to the previous 5 years. That's brutal. Come on, people. You're driving huge, multi-ton steel vehicles. Put the phone down. Put the coffee down. Put the food down. Keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road. Pay attention before someone else dies. Learn more at toronto.ca/art of distraction. This is a message brought to you by the City of Toronto. This is All News Radio, 680 News.
It's 4 degrees with an overcast sky. Good morning from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Madison Fitzpatrick. Here are the top stories this hour. One man is now in custody after an almost 12-hour standoff with police. Some residents in the area were evacuated from their homes, while others were told to take shelter inside. 2 men are dead after being stabbed in Mississauga. 1 man down on scene, while the other succumbed to
Get off my
injuries at hospital.
fucking porch,
Police are
Mr.
not
Pork
looking
Chopper.
for any
Don't tell
suspects.
me where to fucking
Coming up
stand in my
after
house.
sports, the details on a deadly mall shooting in Colorado. 6 City News time, 5:15. Now 6 City Sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Here's Calamang.
In their return from the holiday break, the Leafs pulled off a 5-4 overtime win in New Jersey to push their win streak to 6. William Nylander got credit for Damon Severson's own goal. Ilya Mikheyev left the game and, according to the team, suffered a significant laceration to his wrist and had to go to a local hospital.
How'd your wrist
The Leafs
get
host the
it, bro?
Rangers tonight on Sportsnet 590 The Fan at 6:30. Elsewhere, the Blues beat Winnipeg 5-4 in overtime, and Calgary dumped the Oilers 5-1. To baseball, the Blue Jays held a press conference to introduce a big off-season signing. Left-handed pitcher Hyunjin Ryu put on his number 99 and greeted the city.
Hello, Canada. Bonjour. I'm happy to be here, and I'm gonna make Toronto Blue Jays proud. Thank you.
Ryu comes over from the LA Dodgers and finished second in National League Cy Young voting last season. Sports at 15 and 45, past every hour or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid, now on radio and TV. Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
6 City News time, 5:16.
You know what's crazy? Not using smarter tools to manage a small business. You work too hard to work this hard. Collecting receipts? Is this the 80s?
QuickBooks gives you a smarter set of business tools that do all the hard work for you. You may work for yourself, but you don't have to go at it alone.
It's easier than rewinding a VHS before returning it.
You earned it. We're here to make sure you get it. And for a limited time, save 70% when you buy Intuit QuickBooks. QuickBooks, backing you. Visit QuickBooks.ca for full offer details.
At Rogers, a new year means new possibilities for your business. When you choose business-grade internet solutions, keep your internet constantly connected with our wireless LTE backup network. And for a limited time, get Rogers Business Internet Pro Gigabit plus Office 365 for just $119.99 a month on a 3-year term. Don't miss out. Call 1-866-ROGERS-6 or visit rogers.com/internetforbiz. Rogers, make more for your business possible.
You can make more. In international news, at least 12 people are dead, including the pilot, after a Beck airplane crashed just after takeoff in Kazakhstan. The jet was carrying 98 people and 54 were taken to hospital. ABC's Ian Pennell has been talking with crash survivors.
The plane was departing Almaty in Kazakhstan Friday morning when it got into trouble. Aslan Nazaraliev was on board.
The whole body of the plane started shattering, like vibrating very intensely.
There were nearly 100 on board.
Kazakhstan's president has ordered an inspection of all airlines in the country. Authorities in Hawaii say the wreckage of a helicopter carrying 7 people to one of the most rugged and remote coastlines in the state has been found in a mountainous area of the island of Kauai.
The helicopter was on a tour that left just after 5 o'clock last night. Now, there has been a search effort that's been ongoing. We do know that the type of helicopter that was being used at the time was a Eurocopter AS-350, and it was being flown.
They don't need to know the type, they need to know the color.
Tour company on Kauai. There were 6 passengers
God,
on
you
board,
people are stupid
plus the
sometimes.
pilot.
Searchers began looking for the helicopter after it was reported overdue from a tour Thursday evening. 6 City News time, 5:19. A deadly mall shooting took place Friday in Aurora, Colorado, a town previously rocked by a horrific act of mass violence.
Police say the violence broke out Friday afternoon inside a JCPenney store at an Aurora, Colorado shopping mall. A 17-year-old male was shot, taken to a hospital where he died. Police have not released any suspect information, but believe this was an isolated incident and not an active shooter. Friday's violence just a stone's throw from the movie theater where 7 years ago a gunman opened fire during a Batman movie, killing 12 people.
It was the second shooting in the Aurora Mall this month. In March, a 16-year-old boy was shot and killed in the mall's parking lot. Meantime, authorities say 2 people were shot and killed and multiple others were wounded when a group filming a music video was ambushed near Houston. No suspects have been immediately identified and the motive for the attack is unknown. Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez says a group of Hispanic men were filming an office parking lot in a residential neighborhood when the shots were fired.
We're filming some type of music video when all of a sudden, basically they were ambushed, we believe, by individuals in cars and or foot.
Police were canvassing the area for more victims due to the high amount of gunshots believed to have been fired. Coming up, traffic and weather together on the ones. 680 News Time at 5:20.
The Mercedes-Benz Oakville year-end winter sales event is on now. For a limited time, enjoy exceptional offers such as lease rates from 1.49%, finance rates from 0.49%, cash support up to $25,000, and 3 payments waived on us on select in-stock models. Plus, receive a special bonus offer with purchase, available only at Mercedes-Benz Oakville. Visit our showroom today, the QEW and Dorval Drive in Oakville, and use these generous offers to gift yourself a Mercedes-Benz this holiday season.
Hey everyone, Sam from Best Brand Appliance. So us and Sub-Zero Wolf are bringing you just in time for the holiday season, a Sub-Zero Wolf outlet between 25 to 45% off Sub-Zero Wolf. An incredible opportunity for all of you who are building or renovating, and also an amazing opportunity for all you designers and builders to get your clients massive discounts on Sub-Zero Wolf. This is in-store only, so just come to our Toronto or Vaughan location and see our amazing reps. If you're seeking Sub-Zero Wolf, come see the Sub-Zero Wolf outlet now at Best Brand Appliance.
680 News Time, 5:21. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carly Donahue. This report is brought to you by Mazda dealers. Right now, it's a pretty decent drive in and around the GTA. There's not too much going on the eastbound 401 east of Brock Street. The left lane's going to be closed off for about a week or so. This is for some pothole repairs. It was supposed to wrap up last night, but MTO saying now another week. So right now, you should be fine. And throughout the rest of the weekend, it shouldn't really be causing delays. But come Monday morning, when the rush hour hits, that's definitely going to be an area you want to avoid. So just keep that in mind as you head out for the rest of the week there. Westbound on the 401 approaching Guelph Line, the left lane is closed. And other than that, your major routes are in perfect condition right now. We're not seeing any backup, any collisions, anything like that. If you see something we're missing, hands-free at star 680, and we will be happy to report it. Off of our major routes, east and westbound Commissioner Street is closed from Munition to Don Roadway. North and southbound Don Roadway closed from Commissioners to the Lakeshore. And Yonge and Gerrard, we have the lights out there, so just to treat that as a 4-way stop. O'Connor and Donlands, it may possibly be blocked with some form of police activity, according to traffic spotters. The Mazda year-end event is on now. Get up to $1,500 year-end event bonus on select new Mazda models. Visit your local Mazda dealer today. Your next report, 5:31, with the forecast. Michelle Mackey.
Sunshine, light wind, and a high of 4 degrees. Today is certainly shaping up to be a beautiful winter day, and take advantage while you can. Sunday, a Texas low moves in, bringing us 15 to 20 millimeters of rain, and the winds, they'll be howling by the evening, with easterly gusts between 50 and 60 kilometers an hour. Meanwhile, cottage country through to Ottawa, at risk for prolonged freezing rain, and combined with the wind, we could be seeing some power outages. Sunday's high is 3 degrees, and then Monday morning we'll still be dealing with the rain and wind for that morning drive, but we should clear up by the afternoon with a high of 7 degrees.
Downtown Toronto right now, it is 4 degrees, feeling like 0 with an overcast sky. And over at Pearson Airport, similar conditions, 3 feeling like -1. Remember, 680 News is the only radio station with a weather guarantee. Today's jackpot stands at $10,600. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, the latest on a incident in Mississauga where 2 men have been stabbed and later succumbed to their injuries. 680 News Time of 5:23.
Catch all the excitement of your favorite slots and table games at Casino Woodbine. Sign up for a free One Rewards membership today, and you could be eligible to get your first $250 on us. Need a lift? We've added new Toronto shuttle bus routes that will take you right to our front doors. Must be 19 plus. Rewards membership required. If you gamble, play smart. Casino Woodbine. Toronto's home for gaming and entertainment.
Hey, smart speaker, play what I need to know. Did you mean 680 News?
This holiday season, 680 News wants to help pay off those holiday bills with the 680 News.
Streaming secret.
Stream 680 News daily on your smart speaker or any streaming device for the secret code word of the week.
When you hear it, enter the weekly code for your chance to win $2,500 cash.
For more money, the 680 News. Streaming secret.
Exclusively on your smart speaker and streaming devices. For details, visit 680news.com/secret.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. What films are we most looking forward to seeing next year?
The world apparently can't wait for Wonder Woman 1984. The forthcoming superhero sequel tops Fandango's list of the most anticipated films of the new year. Stars Gal Gadot, Chris Pine, and Kristen Wiig also top the most anticipated actress, actor, and villain lists, respectively.
It is my duty to protect my family.
Disney's Mulan live-action remake is Fandango's most anticipated family film. The sequels, A Quiet Place Part 2 and Ghostbusters Afterlife, also on the must-see list. Christopher Watson, ABC News.
Your business report coming up next, 680 News Time, 525.
My benchmark for comfort is my dad's old Lazy Boy. My benchmark for style is House and Home. I'll get them both at the big Lazy Boy Boxing Week sale.
With the biggest holiday of the year ending, now's the time for the Lazy Boy Boxing Week sale to begin. With huge markdowns and percentage off tags, this is the biggest sale of the year.
Double scratch and save up to 50% off your purchase at 9 GTA stores plus Kitchener.
Jenny Cooper, who's dead?
Death is her living,
I am just trying to put a picture together of how he died.
and she won't rest until she uncovers the truth.
You know, it is my mission as coroner to speak for the dead so that I can protect the living.
The hit drama series returns. Coroner. New season begins January 6th at 9 on CBC.
680 News Time at 526. Now time for the 680 News Business Report.
I'm Richard Detman. Does 2020 have you thinking about changing jobs or taking stock of why you're happy with your current position? Those are some of the topics staffing giant Hays Canada asked in its annual survey of 3,000 employers and staff. Company President Rowan O'Grady is on the line. What are employees looking for in a job, and what are employers willing to offer?
The number one thing is career progression. Number two is salary. Very, very close behind career progression, but it is second. And then third, it's about company culture. The advice we always give to employers is, when it comes to salary, there's only one company pays the most, and probably not for long. So if your only strategy is we're just going to pay more than everybody else, you know, good luck, because someone else will pay more than you suddenly.
You say career progression is the top factor, but not everyone's chosen to rise up an organization's ladder.
For a lot of companies, they think career progression means I have to promote this person and pay them more and move up the corporate ladder. But for people, a lot of people, what they say career progression means is, did I learn something new? Am I being challenged? Am I working on new kinds of projects? Am I being given different responsibilities? They just want to learn things and feel like they're progressing themselves professionally. Maybe that isn't a promotion, and often it isn't. And I think there's a gap between what employers think that means and what people really, really want.
And what about employees' desire for work-life balance?
The vast majority of companies, and particularly the good employers, recognize that there's a lot of pressure and demands on people's lives. They have lives outside of work. They need to manage both somehow, and they need flexibility and understanding. Our advice, and we're an employer as well. Hays employs 300 people in Canada. Our approach and the advice that we give to our clients is, you've got to understand that. You've got to be flexible and trust people, but you also have to have a high expectation of results from people.
Hays Canada President Rowan O'Grady. In the Business Center, I'm Richard Detman.
Hey, Sam, anything I should know before my trip to Asia?
I just got back. You'll love it.
Just remember that hepatitis A and typhoid fever can be spread through contaminated food and drink, even ice cubes. Think about getting vaccinated. Help protect yourself from hepatitis A and typhoid fever in one shot. Ask your healthcare provider about Vivaxum. Vaccination does not provide 100% protection. Travelers should practice safe food and water precautions. Side effects and allergic reaction may occur. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist to see if Vivaxum is right for you, or visit sanofi.ca.
You head out the front door and head to the car. Slide into the driver's seat and begin. Every time you start your car should be the start of an adventure. Where will yours take you? At Von Chrysler Fiat, we want you to be satisfied from the moment you walk in till the moment you drive off the lot. Come in today to start your adventure. Von Chrysler Fiat. We stand behind our cars. Join the family at VonChrysler.com.
It's time for the 680 News Business Travelers Forecast, brought to you by OFX Global Money Transfers. OFX, the money transfer specialists, help businesses and individuals move money globally with a secure digital experience and 24/7 human support. More at OFX.com.
Downtown Toronto right now, 4 degrees and an overcast sky. 680 News Time, 5:30.
Number one for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Good morning. This is December 28th. I'm Jordan Coulter. And I'm Madison Fitzpatrick. Here's what's making news this hour. 2 men have died after an early morning stabbing in Mississauga. A man is in custody after a shootout followed by a near 12-hour standoff with police in Richmond Hill. 1 man is dead after a shooting in Etobicoke. Toronto's LGBTQ community is mourning the loss of an outspoken trans activist who was killed on Sunday.
William Nylander benefited from a Devils' own goal to help the Leafs win in overtime, and the Blue Jays introduced all-star pitcher Hyunjin Ryu to the city. Sports at 45.
And coming up in business, a look at one of the top stories of the year, a rough ride for the cannabis stocks. We speak to an analyst about what went wrong and where we go from here.
680 News Time, 5:31. Time for traffic and weather. Together on the ones, here's Carlin Donahue. This report is brought to you by UNICEF Canada. It's a pretty decent drive out there on the major routes this morning. You've really got nothing that's going to obstruct your driving too much. Just a little bit of construction out in the Durham region on the East 401, just east of Brock Street. You have a left lane that's going to be closed for pretty much a whole week, according to the MTO. Now, this is just because of some pothole repairs, but they were set to be finished last night at 10 o'clock, and now they're saying 1 more week. So it's going to be fine for today and the rest of the weekend where there's no rush hour. But come Monday morning, this might be an area you want to avoid because it has been causing delays on weekdays. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, westbound 401 approaching Guelph Line, the left lane is closed. And other than that, there is nothing to report on your major routes. So if you see something we're missing, give us a hands-free call at star 680. Off the major routes, O'Connor and Donland is being reported from traffic spotters as being blocked for some police activity. Yonge and Gerrard, we have the traffic lights out there. Don Roadway is closed from Commissioners to Lakeshore, and Commissioners is closed from Munition to Don Roadway. Millions of children worldwide are in urgent care of nutritious food, safe water, medicine, and education. Give by December 31st, and your gift will be doubled. Donate now at unicef.ca. Your next report, 541, with the forecast. Here's Michelle Mackey.
Any outdoor plans? Today is the day to do them. We'll start the day with partly cloudy skies and temperatures around the freezing mark, feeling closer to -4. So yes, you'll need the winter layers this morning. Mainly sunny into the afternoon, and we have an above seasonal high of 4 degrees. Winds fairly calm, around 10 kilometers an hour, gusting to 20 out of the southwest.
Downtown Toronto right now, 4 feeling like 0 with an overcast sky. And over at Pearson Airport, similar conditions there, 3 feeling like -1. 680 News Time, 5:33. 2 men have died following a stabbing early this morning in Mississauga. The call came into police just before 1 o'clock this morning, and officers responded to a residence in the area of College Way and Council Ring. 1 male victim was pronounced dead on the scene. The second stab wound victim was transported to hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. The relationship between the 2 victims is unknown at this time. Police say they do not believe there's any suspects outstanding. You're listening to 680 News. An 11-hour standoff has ended after a man barricaded himself in a home for the afternoon and better part of Friday evening in Richmond Hill. The man has now been arrested by York Regional Police. It started after a routine traffic stop near Bayview and Major Mackenzie turned into a shootout between an officer and the suspect. The man then fled into a home nearby where heavily armored police cornered him in the residence. Staff Sergeant Andy Bell with York Regional Police says as the investigation continues, residents in the area were allowed back into their homes.
Once the suspect's been removed from the scene and we've got in the necessary resources to continue our investigation, then people will be allowed to return to their homes.
The SIU watchdog has invoked their mandate due to the possibility that the suspect was shot by police. 680 News time, 5:34. One man is dead after shooting by Eva Road in the West End Mall in Etobicoke. Melissa Cobley from City News has more.
This parking lot was blocked up for most of the day as police investigated the case. It was a disturbing wake-up call for many residents who live here who tell me they were awoken by the sounds of rapid gunfire. Multiple shell casings, a white vehicle with the doors swung open, and bloodstains still visible even hours after the shooting took place in this visitor's parking lot located between two buildings in a complex in Etobicoke.
Officers attended this area. We located a male party who was suffering with some gunshot wounds. He was transported to a local hospital in serious condition.
He was pronounced dead in hospital, now making this Toronto's 75th homicide of the year. Investigators haven't released any information about the victim or the suspect, only saying witnesses reported seeing a white car chasing a black vehicle, which was later driven out of the area. Melissa Cobley, City News.
680 News time, 5:35. Toronto's LGBTQ community is remembering an important activist after she was killed earlier this week. Pride Toronto tweeted a memoriam for Julie Berman, saying she was a proud trans woman and tireless advocate who fought to raise awareness of the increasing rates of anti-trans violence across our city. Berman died after an alleged assault on Sunday. The suspect, 29-year-old Colin Harnack, was charged with second-degree murder and appeared in court on Monday. You're listening to All News Radio 680 News. Toronto police are asking for the public's help in locating a missing 72-year-old man. Justin Powell was last seen on Friday around 9:30 a.m. around Morningside Avenue and Shepherd Avenue. Powell is 5'5", around 120 pounds, with a medium complexion, unshaven, and is wearing black glasses. He was last seen with a black toque, black winter jacket, navy pants, and gray shoes with red stripes. If you have any information on Powell's whereabouts, you are asked to contact police. Meantime, police are also asking the public for help in locating Lucas Kakish. Kakish is 25 years old and was last seen on December 20th around Bloor Street and Dovercourt Road. Kakish is 5'6" with a slender build, brown eyes, black spacer earrings, and has sleeve tattoos on both arms. If you see Kakish, you are asked to contact police. You're listening to All News Radio 680 News. He was the fun guy, the bored man who got paid. He overcame injury to reclaim his rightful place as one of the very best basketball players on the planet. He conquered the NBA world for a second time, bringing a championship to Canada.
Okay, what's up, baby? What I do, baby? Yeah, you already know.
Kawhi Leonard has been named the Associated Press's Male Athlete of the Year. He became the 5th NBA player to win the award, joining Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, and Stephen Curry. And superstar gymnast Simone Biles was announced Thursday as the women's recipient for 2019. And in other sports news, a scary moment in last night's Maple Leafs game. Forward Ilya Mikheyev recovering in hospital after he suffered what the team is calling a wrist laceration. The incident happening in the second period when the New Jersey Devils forward Jesper Bratt's skate appeared to catch Mikheyev in the wrist. He's expected to stay in a New Jersey hospital overnight. Mikheyev scored his 8th goal of the season on Friday and has 23 points in 38 games. 680 News time, 5:38.
680 News.
Here in review.
Brought to you by the Chesterfield Shop.
I'm Mark Douglas with a look back at January 31st when a massive fire tore through the Agincourt Rec Center.
There was flames coming out of the building.
People with almost nothing on went running outside to escape the danger on what was already an exceptionally cold winter night.
People from the pool, they couldn't put their clothes on. They just had came out in shorts and t-shirts, sandals.
Toronto fire officials quickly escalated their response to 4 alarms.
At this time, there are no report of injuries. We were told that the building was safely evacuated. We're just trying to get a handle on the fire right now. Obviously, the weather's not helping us.
The very next day, Mayor John Tory was promising the people of Agincourt they would not lose such a vital part of their community.
This place is going to be rebuilt. Whatever it takes to get that done, we're going to do that as soon as we possibly can. But obviously, we won't be able to even begin to put dates, times, and places around that until the fire is out.
The fire actually lasted 40 hours. With the year in review, I'm Mark Douglas.
Still to come on 680 News, we'll have traffic and weather together next. But first, we'll take a look at the price at the pumps. 680 News time, 5:39.
At Lowe's, we have everything you need for your renos for less.
My dream basement has red oak baseboards, sound insulation, and an audio engineer so my high school band can reunite and finally record our concept album.
Well, just about everything. Until Wednesday at Lowe's, it's Boxing Week. Get 33% off select laminate flooring. Plus, save $300 on a Breeze and Stratton snowblower, now at $699. Conditions apply. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's.
Now, the 680 News gas price update. Enpro says the price did not change at midnight, holding at $1.19.9 a liter at most GTA stations. 680 News time, 5:40.
Some things just don't fit, like an SUV that doesn't suit your lifestyle. That's why Toyota offers the adventure-ready RAV4 with available all-wheel drive. Find the Toyota that's right for you. Lease the 2020 RAV4 all-wheel drive LE for as low as $96 weekly at 5.49% APR for 52 months with $0 down, or finance from 3.99% APR for 36 months. Visit your local Ontario Toyota dealer or shoptoyota.ca. Some conditions apply.
It's Boxing Week at Rona and Lowe's. Right now, get 5 times the Air Miles reward miles on purchases of $100 or more before tax. So if you forgot to get your loved ones those power tools they really wanted for Christmas, awesome! Or that electric fireplace they wished for.
You do really love me.
Now you'll get 5 times the Air Miles reward miles with your purchase. Hurry into a Rona or Lowe's store to take advantage of this limited time Air Miles offer. Ends December 31st. Terms and conditions apply. Details in store.
680 News time, 5:41. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carlin Donahue. This report is brought to you by Global Story Network. There's not much happening on the major routes right now. You're going to have a pretty decent drive this morning. Just a little bit of construction to deal with on the eastbound 401, east of Brock Street. A left lane is closed, and it's going to stay closed for about a week because of pothole repairs. This was supposed to be over by now, but MTO's extended it. There must be a lot of potholes out there, but no delays right now. But come Monday morning, it's going to back up just a little bit because that is the Durham region where there's traffic heavy coming into the city. So for the weekend, you should be good to go, but just keep that in mind for when the week starts. Westbound on the 401 approaching Guelph Line, we have a left lane closed off for some construction. And other than that, nothing to report on your major routes this time. If you see something we're missing, give us a hands-free call at star 680. All of our major routes, east and westbound Commissioner Street is closed from Munition to Don Roadway, and north and southbound Don Roadway is closed from Commissioners to the Lakeshore. This is for long-term construction that's going to last until May 16th, 2020. Getting older, so is Jody Miller, one of America's hottest comics. Check out her podcast, Don't Call Me Ma'am, for some hilarious insights and stories. Visit globalnetworkstory.com. Your next report at 5:51. Now with the forecast, here is Michelle Mackey.
Mainly sunny into this afternoon with an above seasonal high of 4 degrees, and then prep the rain gear for Sunday. A Texas low moves in, bringing us 15 to 20 millimeters of rain. The winds, they'll be howling, especially by the evening, with easterly gusts between 50 and 60 kilometers an hour. Meanwhile, cottage country through to Ottawa at risk for prolonged freezing rain, and combined with the wind, we could be seeing some power outages. Sunday's high is 3 degrees.
Right now, downtown Toronto, it is 4 degrees, feeling more like 0 under an overcast sky. And taking a look over at Pearson Airport, overcast 3 degrees, feeling more like 1. 680 news time, 5:43.
How big are the Boxing Week savings at Aero Furniture? You're gonna want to sit down for this one in your new Aero Furniture chair and sofa, flanked by those end tables that match that coffee table. Get them all, because right now you can save up to 70% on furniture for every room in your home while quantities last. Don't miss it. Save up to 70% at Aero Furniture's Boxing Week blowout now through Sunday in all 4 locations in the GTA. Find out more at aerofurniture.com. That's aerofurniture.com.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you want. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck. 2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
It's 4 degrees. Good morning from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Jordan Coulter. Here's the top stories this hour. Police responding to an early morning stabbing in Mississauga where 2 victims were found on site. 1 man pronounced dead on the scene. The other man transported to hospital where he died a short time after. After nearly 12 hours, a gunman has been arrested after a standoff in Richmond Hill near Bayview and Major Mackenzie. What began as a routine traffic stop escalated into a scary situation for residents in the area. And coming up after sports, you can no longer legally buy cigarettes, cigars, or any other tobacco products in the United States if you are under the age of 21. 680 News Time, 5:45. Now 680 Sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Here's Callum Eng.
The Leafs pushed their win streak to 6 with a 5-4 overtime win in New Jersey. Damon Severson knocked the puck in his own net. William Nylander got credited with his 15th of the season and the OT winner. Forward Ilya Mikheyev suffered what the team called a significant laceration to his wrist and was assessed at a local hospital. The Leafs host the Rangers tonight on Sportsnet 590 The Fan at 6:30. To baseball, the Blue Jays introduced their newest pitcher, and GM Ross Atkins talked about Hyunjin Ryu's character.
The story was already very bright, and we were already extremely encouraged about his influence in clubhouses, his influences on people, him as a man off the field. Everything we had learned just was already very positive and just continued to get better and better. Reached out to teammates before and after the sign, and the story has remained the same.
And as a baseball player, Ryu is very good with the LA Dodgers. Last season, he went 14-5 and made an all-star appearance. The Blue Jays will pay him $80 million over 4 years. Sports at 15:45, past every hour, or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid, now on radio and TV. Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
680 News Time, 5:46.
Hurry to Bass Pro Shops now through January 8th for the Boxing Week blowout sale, featuring huge savings on quality outdoor gear and clothing. All the brands you trust, including clearance savings of up to 50% while supplies last. Take advantage of once-a-year savings on men's and ladies' clothing, rugged footwear, and gear for ice fishing, camping, and hunting. Plus marine electronics, home decor, and more. Now's the perfect time to spend your Christmas gift cards at the lowest prices of the year. Bass Pro Shops on Highway 400 at Vaughan Mills and in Niagara-on-the-Lake.
From the excitement of their first day to walking proudly across the graduation stage, school's the start of a journey that can take kids anywhere. Our education system needs to evolve to reflect this journey, to better prepare kids for the future and the jobs of the future. So we're making updates with a focus on positive mental health, technology, skilled trades, and math, so our kids are prepared to succeed every step of the way. Learn how the government is improving your child's educational journey at ontario.ca/education for tomorrow, paid for by the Government of Ontario.
Anyone under 21 years of age can no longer legally buy cigarettes, cigars, or any other tobacco products in the United States. The new law went into effect last week and also applies to electronic cigarettes and vaping products. The provision raising the legal limit from 18 to 21 nationwide was in a massive spending bill passed by Congress and signed by the president on December 20th. About 1/3 of the states already had their own laws restricting tobacco sales to people 21 and older. Anti-smoking advocates say the higher age limit should make it more difficult for young people to get tobacco, particularly high school students who have friends or classmates, usually over 18, buying it for them. 680 News Time, 5:48. The Times Square New Year's Eve ball is getting some new sparkle. Julie Walker of the Associated Press has more.
192 new crystal triangles are replacing some of the older ones on the New Year's Eve ball, and they all have a new theme. The Gift of Goodwill, says Waterford Crystal's Tom Brennan.
This year's theme, the Gift of Goodwill, is all about benevolence and generosity.
The new crystals feature pineapples.
Pineapple effectively has been the symbol of generosity, of goodwill, if you will, for generations.
The Waterford Crystal Ball is made up of more than 2,600 triangles and weighs almost 12,000 pounds. Julie Walker, New York.
You're listening to 680 News. Afraid that there was an unwelcome guest in their home, a U.S. couple took action. As ABC's Brian Clarks explains, it was actually their new household helper.
A North Carolina couple thought they heard an intruder in their home on Christmas night. But when sheriff's deputies arrived, the thing that went bump in the night was their robot vacuum. Christina Howell was the public affairs officer for the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office. She says the couple did the right thing by calling 911, but it doesn't end there. Howell says she got a Facebook message of thanks from the homeowner.
We really appreciate it when people take the time to tell us what our interactions meant to them, and particularly in this case.
The couple says their robot is only a couple days old. Brian Clark, ABC News.
Coming up, traffic and weather together on the ones. 680 News Time, 5:50.
Let's consider for a moment some internet holiday deals you might want to think about. Uranium ore, Madagascar hissing cockroaches, an umbrella hat, or how about a great holiday deal you don't have to think about, like the Bring Home a Honda event. Lease the redesigned 2020 Honda CR-V LX from just $90 weekly at 4.99% and $0 down. Includes free fees for 60 months. Taxes extra OSC. See HondaOntario.com. Bring Home a Honda. No thinking required.
This Boxing Week at Rogers, you can unwrap more during the Wrapped in Red event. That means more of your favorite Apple products, like iPhone 11 for $0. More picture-perfect photos with a pro-grade triple camera system and infinite data you can share without any overages when you get it on a Rogers Infinite plan. This Boxing Week, unwrap more with iPhone 11 for $0 on select 2-year plans during the Wrapped in Red event. On now at Rogers.
680 News Time, 5:51. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carlin Donahue. This report is brought to you by the 407 ETR. It's a pretty good drive out there this Saturday morning if you're on the major routes. We just have a little tiny bit of construction, but other than that, it's looking good to go. Eastbound on the 401, east of Brock Street. A left lane will be closed for about a week, and this is because of some pothole repairs. There's no delays there at this time, but keep that in mind as we head into the week, because come Monday morning, there might be some delays there with rush hour and everything. So, yeah, right now, no delays in the area. Westbound on the 401, approaching Guelph Line, a left lane is closed off. And other than that, nothing to report on your major routes. If you see something we're missing, give us a hands-free call at star 680. Off the major routes in the city streets, east and westbound Commissioner Street is closed from Munition to Don Roadway. And then Don Roadway is closed from Commissioners to the Lakeshore. 407 ETR traffic experts study driving patterns all year round to ensure a smooth ride 365 days a year. Visit 407etr.com. Your next report's coming up at 6:01, and with the forecast, here's Michelle Mackey.
Mainly sunny this afternoon with an above seasonal high of 4 degrees. And then prep the rain gear for Sunday. A Texas low moves in. That is going to bring us 15 to 20 millimeters of rain, and the winds, they'll be howling by the evening with easterly gusts between 50 and 60 kilometers an hour. Meanwhile, cottage country to Ottawa at risk for a prolonged freezing rain event. And combined with the wind, we could be seeing some power outages. Sunday's high in Toronto, 3 degrees. Monday morning, still be dealing with the rain and wind for the commute, but we should clear up by the afternoon drive with an above seasonal high of 7 degrees. The average for this time of year is -1.
Right now, downtown Toronto, it is 4 degrees, feeling more like 0 under an overcast sky. Taking a look over at Pearson Airport, overcast, 3 degrees, feeling more like 1. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll have the latest on an early morning stabbing in Mississauga that has left 2 men dead and police looking for answers. 680 News Time, 5:53.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Scotia iTrade. Direct invest with Scotia iTrade. Get up to $1,500 cash and $6.99 pricing, or up to $500 free equity trades. Details at scotiaitrade.com/winter20.
You know what's crazy? Not using smarter tools to manage a small business. You work too hard to work this hard. Collecting receipts? Is this the 80s?
QuickBooks gives you a smarter set of business tools that do all the hard work for you. You may work for yourself, but you don't have to go at it alone.
It's easier than rewinding a VHS before returning it.
You earned it. We're here to make sure you get it. And for a limited time, save 70% when you buy Intuit QuickBooks. QuickBooks, backing you. Visit QuickBooks.ca for full offer details.
There's no link in this page to that page, so I don't know how the fuck you did that.
If we're off by more than 3 degrees, we'll announce a lucky winner of our growing cash jackpot.
Now, get more chances to win each month at Vacation Better with Sunwing.
Enter in December for your chance to win an all-inclusive vacation for 2 at the Grand Memories Splash in Punta Cana.
Located near Bavaro Beach with one of the largest water parks, you can enjoy excitement and relaxation with 24-hour room service and 7 enormous water slides.
The 680 News weather guarantee with Sunwing at the Grand Memories Splash.
At 680news.com. Put us on and find out what to wear. The best weather reports in the city every 10 minutes on 680 News.
Coming up in 60 seconds, we'll have your weekday business report. 680 News Time, 5:55.
Hi, I'm Maureen Holloway. You'll never forget the day you got a Lexus. Make that day today. It's the Lexus December to Remember event at Don Valley North Lexus, where you can lease the 2020 NX300 with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto for just $188 bi-weekly for 40 months, and that includes $1,500 in delivery credits. Expect excellence at Don Valley North Lexus, 3120 Steeles, just east of the 404. Don Valley North, Don Valley North. Details at DonValleyNorthLexus.com.
How does Sugar Plum Fairy transform Canada's Wonderland into the world of Winterfest?
We need lights, millions of them, a gigantic Christmas tree, and Snoopy and the Peanuts gang, and ice skating and carolers spreading cheer. And more lights, and a heap of live shows and family rides.
Hurry for magical allows from the world of Canada's Wonderland's Winterfest. Select dates through December 31st. Don't miss the final days of Winterfest. Open daily Thursday through December 31st. Save on tickets at Canada'sWonderland.com.
680 News Time, 5:56. Now, the 680 News Business Report.
I'm Chris McCusker. One of the top business stories this year, the pot stocks. It was a bumpy ride and pretty volatile from one day to the next. In the summer, one cannabis producer, CanTrust, was cited by Health Canada for growing pot in unlicensed rooms. So, was that the start of the problems? Matt Bottomley is equity research analyst at Canaccord Genuity.
I don't think that's really where problems started. I think that is maybe not a one-off example, but one of a limited number of examples in the market that is strictly based on poor execution or certainly a huge lapse in judgment and following with the regulations. I really think the rubber hitting the road, as I like to say, of all the infrastructure being rolled out or lack thereof, meaning retail stores and capacity with producers, I think that the writing was a little bit on the wall with respect to there being bumps.
And we can look at the 25 stores in Ontario as it stands today versus the hundreds in Alberta.
Oh, absolutely. It's something where, we anticipate, just based on population, Ontario is going to be around 40%, maybe a little bit more of the overall market opportunity. And those metrics you gave are bang on. I mean, a lot of these producers in their last, their Q3 results that came out towards the end of November, that was the common theme. And everyone's hoping that sort of the expedited process in the new year of getting more stores in Ontario is actually going to be a big catalyst, positive catalyst for the sector.
So will the so-called Cannabis 2.0 help the companies become profitable anytime soon?
I think there's going to be unforeseen challenges that will probably push up profitability longer than people are anticipating. But if you look at this market on a sort of 2 to 5 year window, I think there's going to be a lot of success stories.
Matt Bottomley is equity research analyst at Canaccord Genuity. With the business year in review, I'm Chris McCusker.
We take pictures all the live long day. So before you buy your next car, take a picture of the dealer's advertised price and bring it with you to your dealer. Because all-in price advertising is the law. You should never charge more than dealer's advertised price. As an Ontario car buyer, you've got rights. And you've got OMVIC. Visit omvic.ca for more information. A consumer protection message from OMVIC, Ontario's vehicle sales regulator. Happy car buying, Ontario.
September 2018. 6 tornadoes touched down between Ottawa and Gatineau. Over 250,000 Canadians were affected, some losing their homes. When disaster strikes, Canadian radio stations use Alert Ready to deliver critical and potentially life-saving alerts. When you hear this tone, tune in, get informed, stay safe. Learn more about how Canadian broadcasters, including this station, are working to keep you safe at alertready.ca. For more information, visit rogersmedia.com/radio.
Weather forecast you can bank on, because if we're off by more than 3 degrees,
You can win our growing cash jackpot. The 680 News Weather Guarantee. Enter online at 680news.com.
Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for Walmart. With Walmart's guaranteed unbeatable low prices, save $5.76 on 4.43 liters of Purex laundry detergent. Now, only $6.97 at Walmart.
Right now in Brampton, it is overcast 2 degrees. Cambridge, overcast 1 degree. In Oakville, overcast 2 degrees. In Pickering, mostly cloudy 1 degree. In Stouffville, mostly cloudy 1 degree. Richmond Hill, mostly cloudy 1 degree. And in downtown Toronto, 4 degrees, feels more like 0. 680 News Time, 6 o'clock.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are Stuart McGinn and Leah Johansson.
Good morning. It's Saturday, December 28th.
Good morning. Here's what's making news this hour.
2 men are dead after a stabbing in Mississauga early this morning.
A dramatic 12-hour standoff in Richmond Hill between an armed man and York police ends with the suspect in handcuffs.
Catholic teachers are set to return to the bargaining table with the province in the new year as possible strike action looms.
And Justin Bieber feeling nostalgic after recent changes at Tim Hortons.
In New Jersey, the Leafs managed a 5-4 overtime win over the Devils after an own goal, and the Blue Jays officially introduced another arm to Toronto sports at 15.
And coming up in business, we're looking at how today's consumers are being influenced by the experience rather than traditional marketing techniques, fueling sales and performance through emotions.
680 News Time, 6:01.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. With a look at your drive, we say good morning to Barb Andrews.
Good morning, Leah. This report brought to you by Audi Queensway. A quiet drive on our routes this morning. Just a couple of construction spots to be aware of. Eastbound 401 east of Brock Street, a left lane is closed for some road work. And then westbound 401 approaching Guelph Line, we have a left lane closed through there for construction as well. Otherwise, looks good and very quiet on our routes. The 401, the 400, 404 DVP, no troubles to pass along. We have long-term road work on the Gardner, both directions between the DVP and York down to 2 lanes as well. Westbound Gardner ramp to Jarvis closed for construction. The QEW looks good, 427, very nice and quiet. And off our major routes, Commissioner Street between Munition and Don Roadway is closed as well. Don Roadway between Commissioners and Lakeshore closed, all of that for long-term road work. Award yourself a Performance Plus bonus at 2019 Q7 for 1.98% for 48 months. Plus receive up to $5,000 in Audi event credit now at AudiQueensway.ca. Your next report at 6:11 now with the forecast. Good morning, Denise Andriachi.
Good morning, and it's a quiet morning this morning, not quite as mild as yesterday. It's mostly cloudy and 2 degrees at Pearson. We will see mostly cloudy conditions this morning with a little bit of sun breaking through that cloud a little later this afternoon. Mainly cloudy overnight, lows near -1. A big system impacting the GTA and really the most of southern Ontario Sunday and Monday. We'll talk about that today. The guaranteed high for this afternoon, 4 degrees.
680 News Time, 6:02.
We have breaking news from Mississauga, where an early morning stabbing in a residential area near Winston Churchill and Dundas has left 2 men dead. Police first responding to some sort of disturbance just before 1 o'clock at College Way and Council Ring Road. When they arrived, they found 2 men located at a house, both of them suffering from stab wounds.
Paramedics pronounced one of the men dead on scene while the other died from his injuries in hospital. We're yet to learn if these victims are known to each other, but at this point, police are saying they are not looking for any suspects in the case. Stay with us here at 680 News for the very latest on this development story.
Nearly 12 hours after a typical traffic stop in Richmond Hill went terribly wrong, a standoff between police and a man barricaded inside a home is finally over. The province's police watchdog now on the case. 680's Mitch Burke has more on the dramatic timeline from York Police.
Calls began to flood our newsroom just before 11 yesterday morning. Police pulling over a vehicle at a gas station at Major Mackenzie Drive and Bayview Avenue during a traffic stop. Then a gun was pulled and fired at the officer.
The officer returned fire and the suspect vehicle fled from the scene.
Thankfully, the officer wasn't hurt, and York Constable Laura Nicole says the suspect did not start firing at random at anyone else. Then a brief pursuit around the corner to a nearby home, the suspect barricading himself inside. After spending most of the day negotiating with the man, tactical units advancing just before 10 last night, and they came out with the suspect in handcuffs. Police still holding that scene as the investigation continues. Charges against the suspect are not yet clear. I'm Mitch Burke.
680 News Time, 6:04. Toronto police are asking for the public's help in locating a missing 72-year-old man who's been missing since yesterday morning. Justin Powell was last seen Friday around 9:30 in the Morningside and Shepherd Avenue area. He's described as 5'5", around 120 pounds, with a medium complexion. He was last seen with a black toque, black winter jacket, wearing navy pants and gray shoes that had red stripes. If you have any information on Powell's whereabouts, you're asked to contact police. You can also find his photo on the Toronto Police Twitter page.
680 News Time, 6:05. We now know the province's unionized Catholic teachers plan to start talking tough about their contracts come the new year. The Ontario English Catholic Teachers Association receiving a no-board report on December 21st, putting them in a legal strike position. And now we're learning that talks between the union and the province will resume on January 9th and 10th. Meantime, the Toronto Star reports teachers in the province's 12 French language boards now have 5 bargaining dates set throughout the last half of January. And dates have yet to be set on the public side, but the OSSTF and the ETFO both expect to get talking again sometime next month. A newly appointed provincial mediator canceled talks between the high school teachers and the Ford PCs just days before the winter break, saying the sides were just too far apart.
This news segment brought to you by CasaLife.com, 680 News Time, 6:06. Well, welcome to the last nice weather day of 2019. The double-digit warmth we enjoyed yesterday is behind us, at least for now, but at least the sun will stick around today. Our weather specialist Denise Andriachi tells us a major Texas low is right on our doorstep. That means a washout to end off the last weekend of the year.
However, we are under special weather statements in through the York-Durham region. This is because we could see some prolonged periods of freezing rain throughout the afternoon and continuing into Monday morning. From Newmarket to Oshawa to Richmond Hill and Markham, we've got this threat for freezing precipitation.
Meanwhile, areas in the eastern part of the province bracing for what could be an extended period of ice pellets or freezing rain. For today, your 680 News guaranteed high is +4. A look ahead to New Year's Eve coming up in your extended forecast.
680 News time, 6:06. Police in New York City are already prepping for the upcoming New Year's Eve celebration in Times Square. NYPD Police Commissioner says New Year's Eve will be one of the most well-policed, well-protected celebrations in the world. But he's also asking for the public to be vigilant.
If anyone sees something that doesn't feel right, makes you uncomfortable, tell a police officer is the message.
Police say there are no specific
That's just making me feel uncomfortable, motherfucker. Jesus Christ.
680 News time, 6:07. He's quitting on his own accord. That's the word from Alex Machado after 2 years of leading Tim Hortons through a period of transition. As the coffee wars rage on, Restaurant Brands' September quarter results were hurt by Tim Hortons' performance, while its other fast food chains, Burger King and Popeyes, fared far better. Machado has spoken about his confidence over the past few months about the company's plan to fend off the competition and to heal relations with many of its franchisees. He'll be stepping down from his post officially in March.
Meantime, one of the most famous young Canucks is sounding off over the one iconic Canadian symbol, the recently revamped lid of the Tim Hortons Cup. Roger Ward of the Canadian Press has the details.
The Beebs is saying sorry, but he doesn't have time for Tim Hortons' new coffee cup lid. He's taken to Instagram asking who's Canadian and misses these lids of Tim Hortons like I do. About 64% of respondents said they missed the old lid as of last evening. Earlier this year, Tim Hortons relaunched its coffee cups with a more environmentally friendly lid emblazoned with a maple leaf, meant to cut down on leaking.
After a quick response from the coffee giant
environment.
explaining the new lids, Bieber posted another Instagram post saying that we are making a change one lid at a time.
680 News time, 6:08. Well, we've known this day was coming for about a decade. Now it's finally here. Following this weekend, or after, the old streetcar vehicles that have come to define Toronto's historic rail network will be a thing of the past. Just 6 of those classic red streetcars have been operating along Queen Street. And today, one lucky transit enthusiast will be named the winner of a contest to win a seat on the last ride before the new fleet is ushered in. The first of the soon-to-be phased-out streetcars were brought in more than 40 years ago.
680 News time, 6:09. Coming up, we'll take a look at the latest price of the pumps.
This is 680 News.
This
is 680 News.
Castle Life Furniture's December sale ends soon.
Hi, I'm Rob from Castle Life. For 17 years, our December sale has always been our biggest event. Unlike other sales, this sale is on every item we carry. And this year, we have over 30 of our most popular vendors in on the act, including our top modern Canadian manufacturers, as well as a great selection from all over the world. Come and see what we have in store or online to enjoy our best pricing of the year.
Sale ends soon. Up to 30% off all new orders. 3 locations, including Evans Avenue east of Kipling. Visit CastleLife.com.
680 News time, 6:09. Now a look at the price at the pumps. Roger McKnight of Enpro says the price didn't change at midnight, holding at $1.19.9 a liter at most GTA stations. Still ahead, traffic and weather together next.
680 News time, 6:10.
I'm Scott McGilvery. Selling a home can be complicated. In Toronto, I trust Frank Leo to get you top dollar. With Frank's guarantee, if you can't sell your house at a price and deadline you agree to, he'll buy it. Go to GetLeo.com today. That's GetLeo.com and start packing. Catch all the excitement of your favorite slots and table games at Casino Woodbine. Sign up for a free One Rewards membership today, and you could be eligible to get your first $250 on us. Need a lift? We've added new Toronto shuttle bus routes that will take you right to our front doors. Must be 19 plus. Rewards membership required. If you gamble, play smart. Casino Woodbine. Toronto's home for gaming and entertainment. If you want the most money for your home in Toronto, I trust the #1 RE/MAX agent in the world, Frank Leo, and his home sale guarantee. I'm Scott McGilvery. Selling a home doesn't have to be complicated. Go to GetLeo.com today. That's GetLeo.com and start packing.
680 News Time, 6:11.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Barb Andrews. And this report is brought to you by Aaronwood Ford. Continues to be a quiet drive on our major routes this morning. Looking at the 401, that is moving well in both directions. We do have a couple of construction spots, though, on the 401. First off, eastbound 401 east of Brock Street in a left lane, and then westbound 401 approaching Brock Line also in a left lane, but not causing delays at the moment. Looking at the 404 DVP, that is a light drive both ways, top to bottom. Same story with the Gardner in and out of downtown. No major delays, just some long-term road work on the Gardner both directions between the DVP and York down to 2 lanes. And then westbound Gardner Red to Jarvis closed for construction. If you're driving along the QEW, looks good through Mississauga, Oakville, Burlington. No recent troubles. 427, 403, also checking in problem-free. And off our major routes, Commissioners Street between Munition and Don Roadway, that is closed as well. Don Roadway between Commissioners and Lakeshore, all that closed for long-term road work. It's finally here, the Boxing Week Blitz at Aaronwood Ford. This week, get up to $2,000 in Aaronwood bonus bucks on top of their low Aaronwood price. Visit AaronwoodFord.com. Your next report at 6:21 with the forecast. Here's Denise Andriachi.
Mild conditions again today, not quite as warm as yesterday, but still above seasonal. That really has been the trend over the last couple of days as we move through the holiday season. It's already 2 degrees and cloudy over at Pearson. We'll see just a few peaks of sunshine here and there, and then we're mostly cloudy tonight, lows near -1. It's ahead of a big system, a soggy system that's moving into the Great Lakes. Looks like predominantly rain for most of the GTA, with this potential for some freezing precipitation through York, Durham. We've got special weather statements there. Much of southern Ontario under some sort of special statement at this point, and as we move through the day, we'll likely see a bit more advisories in effect with regards to this big system. So if you're planning on doing some travel on the roads tomorrow, you'll want to be tuned in today so we can give you all the details. Some rain tomorrow, about 20 millimeters, and highs near 2 degrees. The guaranteed high today is 4.
680 News Time, 6:13.
Another disappointing morning for Lotto Max regulars. No prize. Okay, no. There was no winning ticket for last night's $60 million jackpot. Now, 6 Max Million prizes, each worth $1 million. Each were also up for grabs, but there were no winners there either. The good news is that means the next jackpot will go up to $65 million, and there could be 8 Max Million prizes offered up. The next draw goes on Tuesday. Still ahead, we take a look at our top stories and sports coming up in 60 seconds.
This is 680 News.
Hi, it's Fido. Holiday deals are in full swing, and the fun continues with Boxing Week. Treat yourself, you've earned it. The Samsung Galaxy S10 or A70 is at $0 on select 2-year plans. $0, never-ending fun. And go all out without going over, with data overage protection included on all new plans. Hurry up in store or at Fido.ca to discover more holiday deals. Conditions apply. Fido, go get it.
Some holiday deals on the internet sound good. Half-price invisible unicorn? Sold. But when you think about them, empty. You got me again, internet. Not so much. Get a great holiday deal you don't have to think about at the Bring Home a Honda event. Lease the new 2020 Honda Civic LX for just $65 weekly at 3.99% and $0 down, including a $750 Honda bonus. Includes freight and fees for 60 months. Taxes extra OAC. See HondaOntario.com. Bring Home a Honda. No thinking required.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
Good morning. Mostly overcast, 4 degrees outside our studio. From the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto, I'm Leah Johansson.
And I'm Stuart Begin. Our top stories this hour. 2 men are dead after a stabbing in Mississauga. Police called to College Way and Council Ring Road early this morning, just before 1 o'clock, after reports of a disturbance. It's still unclear how the pair knew each other. And a man in Richmond Hill has surrendered to police after a nearly 12-hour standoff. Police saying the incident began around 10:30 yesterday morning after a brief interaction and shots fired between an officer during a traffic stop. Let's check the roads now. Here's Barb Andrews.
It continues to be a quiet drive on our major routes. No major delays or issues to pass along. All the details coming up at 6:21.
I'm Denise Andriachi in the 680 News Weather Center. A mostly cloudy and quiet day today. A lot of rain on the way for the end of the weekend. Your guaranteed high, 4 degrees.
680 News Time, 6:15. Time now for 680 Sports. From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, here's Calamine.
In their return from the holiday break, the Leafs pulled off a 5-4 overtime win in New Jersey to push their win streak to 6. William Nylander got credit for Damon Severson's own goal. Ilya Mikheyev left the game and, according to the team, suffered a significant laceration to his wrist and had to go to a local hospital. The Leafs host the Rangers tonight on Sportsnet 590 The Fan at 6:30. Elsewhere, the Blues beat Winnipeg 5-4 in overtime, and Calgary dumped the Oilers 5-1. To baseball, the Blue Jays held a press conference to introduce a big off-season signing. Left-handed pitcher Hyunjin Ryu put on his number 99 and greeted the city.
Hello, Canada. Bonjour. I'm happy to be here, and I'm gonna make Toronto Blue Jays proud. Thank you.
Ryu comes over from the LA Dodgers and finished second in National League Cy Young voting last season. Sports at 15 and 45, past every hour or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid, now on radio and TV. Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
680 News Time, 6:17.
What does it feel like to play Lotto 649? Well, with a chance to win a jackpot, plus the guaranteed $1 million prize, just having a ticket feels a lot like that moment between and so get that 649 feeling. Buy your ticket today to feel the anticipation that comes with a chance to win the upcoming jackpot, plus the guaranteed $1 million prize. The Mercedes-Benz Oakville certified pre-owned year-end winter sales event is on now. For a limited time, enjoy exceptional offers such as finance rates from 0.99%, 3 payments waived on us, and existing customers get an additional 1% loyalty rate reduction. Plus, receive a special bonus offer with purchase available only at Mercedes-Benz Oakville. Visit our showroom today at the QEW and Dorval Drive in Oakville and use these generous offers to gift yourself a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz this holiday season.
680 News Time, 6:18. Breaking news this morning from Somalia, where a suicide car bomb detonated at a busy security checkpoint in the capital and has left at least 73 people dead. That attack happening around 8 a.m. local time. Officials describe it as one of the deadliest in recent memory. Witnesses say the force of the blast reminded them of the 2017 bombing that killed hundreds of people. The Somalia's Al-Qaeda affiliate has claimed responsibility for that blast. Authorities in Hawaii will resume a search come daylight today for a person still missing after a routine tourist trip yesterday that ended in tragedy. CNN's Josh Campbell reports from the island state.
This all began on Thursday afternoon. The Coast Guard, the U.S. Navy, as well as Kauai Fire and Rescue were alerted after the tourism helicopter failed to return to base at its allotted time. Now, as far as the cause of this incident, that remains under investigation. We're told that early reports possibly point to inclement weather, especially high winds. We're told that in addition to the pilot, there were 2 families aboard, including 4 adults, 2 children. Officials announcing that remains from 6 of those people have been recovered. A search for the 7th continues. Josh Campbell, CNN, Honolulu.
Frustration boiling over at the White House as President Trump continues to hint on Twitter that the impeachment fiasco is ruining his holiday break. CNN's Phil Mattingly has the latest on the high drama in Washington as the looming Senate impeachment trial remains at an impasse.
Sources telling CNN no conversations between the top 2 Senate leaders have occurred or are likely to before January. And with tangible action tabled for the moment, a clear Democratic strategy has to some degree emerged to get under the president's skin. Something sources tell CNN is exactly what's happened.
They're playing games. They don't want to put in their articles, their ridiculous, phony, fraudulent articles.
But even more importantly, Democratic sources say, to exert pressure on Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. McConnell has rejected Democratic calls to subpoena witnesses and documents in the initial trial rules resolution and has scoffed at the Democratic pressure play.
The Senate Majority Leader had said earlier this week he's in no rush to address the impeachment file, despite the president's eagerness to get things moving quick. Still ahead, traffic and weather together next. 680 News Time, 620.
This holiday season, give yourself the gift you really want. The strikingly bold, all-new GMC Sierra. The Winter Clear-Out event is on at GMC. Until January 2nd, get 0% financing for up to 72 months. Plus, $7,000 total value on all 2019 Sierra 1500 elevation pickups. With bold exterior styling and 20-inch black aluminum wheels. It's the gift everyone wants. Hurry into your GTA dealer or visit gmcoffers.ca for details.
Local radio is awesome. Every day it connects millions of Canadians to their communities with local news, traffic, and weather, local sports, entertainment, and events. But don't just take my word for it. There's also my mom.
Hello.
My sister and her kids.
Hi.
My buddy Dave around the corner. The guys in my neighborhood pizza club. My coworkers. Hi. My local taxi driver. Hey. Even weird Uncle Andy. Go on, pull my finger. Yeah. Local radio. It's where you live.
For more information, visit rogersmedia.com/radio.
680 News Time, 621. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones with Barb Andrews.
Thank you, Leah. This report is brought to you by Nikon Canada. Looking at the 401, it is a nice drive both directions. No major issues to pass along. Just a couple of construction spots. Eastbound 401 east of Brock Street in the left lane, we have repair work taking place. And then westbound 401 approaching Guelph line, we have a left lane blocked with construction. Otherwise, 401 looks really good. Same story if you're traveling along the 404 DVP in both directions. No recent problems to pass along. If you are traveling along the Gardner, that is in good shape both in and out of the downtown core. We just have that long-term road work to deal with on the Gardner in both directions between the DVP and York. It is down to 2 lanes, and then westbound Gardner ramp to Jarvis is closed. No issues to pass along the QEW, 427, 410, all moving well. Off our highways, Commissioner Street between Munition and the Don Roadway is closed, and Don Roadway closed, Commissioners to Lakeshore, all of that for long-term road work. Snap up a Boxing Week bargain on Nikon DSLR cameras and lenses. Right now, save up to $800 during the Capture the Savings event at your local Nikon authorized dealer. Your next report at 6:31 with the forecast. Here's Denise Andriacci.
Cloudy right now and 2 degrees over at Pearson. Not quite as mild as yesterday, but it's still above seasonal this afternoon. Overnight lows near -1. A big system leaving a huge impact across the province of Ontario Sunday, Monday. So it looks like rain for most of the GTA here in the city, about 15 to 20 millimeters. And then also some freezing rain potential through York and Durham region. This system is going to be long lasting. So overnight Sunday and into Monday, we're still dealing with this freezing rain potential. So we've got showers expected on Monday, possibly another 5 millimeters. Eventually, temps are going to cool enough that any lingering precipitation is changing over to flurries by Monday night. New Year's Eve, flurries most of the day, highs near 2 degrees. It's 2 right now at Pearson. Your guaranteed high is 4.
680 News Time, 624. And don't forget, 680 News is the only radio station with a weather guarantee. Today's jackpot sits at $10,600.
We believe in being accountable to you, the listener, which is why we're a member of the Canadian Broadcast Standards Council. As a member, we're committed to upholding the highest standards of broadcasting and adhering to specific codes of conduct. If you have a comment on what you've heard, contact us or visit the CBSC's website, cbsc.ca. We'll respond to your concerns and send you information on the council and its codes.
The 680 News Extreme Weather Center.
With the latest forecast, delays on your commute, and whether schools are open or closed.
Anytime a storm hits the GTA, the 680 News Extreme Weather Center is activated.
Brought to you by Subaru, confidence in motion, and Air Transat, vacation is calling.
Exclusively on 680 News and 680news.com.
You've resolved to lose weight and get in shape in the new year, but you just don't have the time. 680's Jim Benny reports you can toss that excuse out the window.
Jeff Satari of Men's Health Magazine says one study shows 15 minutes of resistance training is just as effective at burning calories as a workout lasting more than twice as long. And
there was another study that showed that 15 minutes of exercise a day can extend your life by 3 years and reduce your risk of life-threatening diseases. So there aren't any more excuses. You can find 15 minutes in your day.
And if you're too lazy to do that, he says a high-protein breakfast will help you lose weight, at least for women.
I'm Jim Benny.
Still ahead, we take a look at the business report coming up in 60 seconds. 6:80 news time, 6:25. This portion brought to you by Lexus Downtown.
I'm Christopher Lina, General Manager of Lexus Downtown. I hope you're free today. It's our Boxing Week event, and it's a great opportunity to get an exceptional rate on a Lexus, as low as 0.9% on select models. Cash incentives up to $8,000 on selected 2019 models. And today only, special prices on all pre-owned and demonstrator vehicles. I'd love to meet you. Visit lexusdowntown.ca for details. Part of Downtown Auto Group. You are what drives us.
CAMH is Canada's leading hospital for mental health. Help make this year's holidays brighter for patients at CAMH through Gifts of Light. When you support Gifts of Light, a patient in need receives a gift that reminds them they aren't alone this holiday season. Small gifts can make a big difference to someone living with mental illness. Please, give a gift of light to someone in need at giftsoflight.ca today.
6:80 news time, 6:26. Time now for the business report.
I'm Mike Apple. It's been dubbed experiential marketing. At its basic level, it's about affecting consumers through experience and emotion. The fast-growing Canadian company is a leader in the trend, Montreal's The Moment Factory, which originated as a lighting company to A-list music acts, but then branched out to create one-of-a-kind light and sound attractions. Its latest is currently on display over the holidays at the Toronto Zoo in an event called Terra Lumina. The founder of The Moment Factory is Eric Fournier.
The Toronto Zoo wanted to create.
You were making money at lighting. You wouldn't have changed your business plan, buddy.
The families into the zoo during the winter time. And we have been working on a concept we call Lumina, which is a night walk. And we, through the use of technologies, images, and so on, create a story. And the objective is really for people to live a very interesting experience on the theme of wildlife preservation and sustainability.
The Moment Factory has grown from a team of 3 to more than 400 in 600 global offices. The Terra Lumina project follows other high-profile light installations at the LA airport, Microsoft's flagship store in New York City, and others in China and Thailand.
You can think about some of them as being digital art that creates an element in the experience of people. So the LAX airport work we've done is really to transform the experience of the traveler. The Jacques Cartier Bridge in Montreal is to embellish the city with the cool lighting of a bridge.
Fournier says it's all about creating something new and innovative to stand out from traditional marketing.
Part of the challenge is to get people outside of their screen. So we're answering to a need to use those cool technologies to create an experience that's real life.
Eric Fournier with the Moment Factory. The Terra Lumina show runs at the Toronto Zoo through the holidays. At the Business Center, I'm Mike Apple.
Treat yourself this holiday season and unwrap a brand new Buick. The Winter Clear Out event is on now at your Buick dealer. Until January 2nd, get 15% of MSRP cash purchase credit or great lease offers on all 2019 Encore SUVs. It's the small luxury SUV sized to fit the way your life moves and turn heads wherever you go. Visit your GTA dealer today or BuickOffers.ca for details.
Holy fuck.
Missed out on Black Friday bargains? Don't worry. Hi, I'm Sean from New Balance, Toronto, and we're gearing up for our Boxing Day blowout. From December 26th to January 12th, we're giving you the best prices of the year. Save up to 50% off footwear, apparel, and accessories. With deals like these, it's the perfect time to try something new or just stock up on the styles you love. New Balance Toronto, your fit specialist for 19 years. Some conditions apply. See store for details.
6:80 news time, 6:29. Time now for the business travelers forecast. Vancouver, some light drizzle, 5 degrees. St. John's, foggy, sitting at the freezing mark. And Orlando, partly cloudy, 22. 6:80 news time, 6:30.
Number 1 for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Stuart McGinn and Leah Johansson.
Good morning. This is Saturday, the 28th of December.
Good morning. Here's what's making news this hour.
2 men are dead after they were found by police at a Mississauga home overnight. Both of them had been stabbed. Officers are not looking for any
A
suspects.
standoff in Richmond Hill comes to an end with a suspect in custody after a traffic stop nearly 24 hours ago turned violent.
The last weekend after decades of operating, Toronto's old streetcars will be taken out of commission as of tomorrow.
600 calories isn't 600 calories.
Oh.
You can lose weight for the new year by what kind of calories you take in.
William Nylander benefited from a Devils' own goal to help the Leafs win in overtime, and the Blue Jays introduced all-star pitcher Hyun-Jin Ryu to the City Sports at 45.
And coming up in business, a New Year's resolution for a number of Canadians is building a future-focused retirement plan. We'll hear from an expert on what to keep in mind as you prepare.
680 News Time, 6:31.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Good morning, Barb Andrews.
Good morning, Stuart. This report brought to you by Markville Toyota. Quiet drive continues on our major routes. Eastbound 401 east of Brock Street. We do have a left lane closed for repair work. Other than that, our major routes are in good shape. Westbound 401 approaching Wealth Line. We have a left lane closed for construction, but that has cleared out of the way, so no other issues to deal with on the 401. If you're traveling on the southbound 404, looks good all the way down towards the 401 onto the DVP. Westbound Gardner is in good shape out of downtown. Westbound QEW also moving well. On the eastbound side, eastbound QEW looks good through Burlington, Oakville, Mississauga. Eastbound Gardner in good shape into downtown as you continue on to the northbound DVP. Up towards the 401 onto the 404, no issues to pass along. Right now at Markville Toyota, get cash saving incentives up to $8,000 on select models. It's time to Toyota at Markville Toyota, Highway 7, just east of McCowan. Your next report at 6:41 with the forecast. Denise Andriachi.
Yeah, it's another mild day today. Not quite as warm as yesterday, but we'll take it. Our average high this time of year is -1. We've got a guaranteed high of +4 today. It is mostly cloudy with a few sunny breaks here and there this afternoon, mainly cloudy and -1 overnight. We will have a wind chill overnight. It's going to feel like -6. A rain beginning tomorrow afternoon and lasting through the day on Monday, then changing over to flurries. And somewhere in between that, we have freezing rain potential too. So we'll keep you updated on all the nasty details. Your guaranteed high today, 4 degrees.
680 News Time, 6:33.
Yeah, breaking news from Mississauga, where early morning violence at a home has turned fatal after a double stabbing.
680's Mitch Burke joins us with the latest from Peel Police. Mitch.
Well, Leah, Peel Police getting the call around 1 this morning from what looks to be a quiet residential area on College Way and Council Ring. That is near Winston Churchill and Dundas. Now, when they arrived, they made the disturbing discovery at a house, finding 2 men, each of them stabbed. Paramedics pronounced one of the men dead on scene. The other died from his injuries in hospital. Now, we have yet to learn if the victims are known to each other. The relationship not clear. But at this point, we can tell you that police are not looking for any suspects. Stay with 680 News for the very latest on this developing story. We are expecting to learn more from police later this morning. Reporting live, Mitch Burke, 680 News.
680 News Time, 6:34. After nearly a day-long standoff, York Regional Police have arrested the man who barricaded himself inside of a home following a gunfight with an officer in Richmond Hill. It started yesterday afternoon near Bayview and Major Mac, where a routine traffic stop by a gas station quickly became a shootout between an officer and the suspect. Staff Sergeant Andy Bell with York Regional Police says officers will remain in the area and the investigation is not over.
We will be holding the scene for a period of time while we check for evidence and potential secondary threats.
Earlier Friday, the exchange of gunfire, the suspect fled to a nearby house where he holed up for almost 12 hours. Armored police surrounded the home all afternoon and evening and were able to negotiate the man's surrender peacefully because an officer used their gun. The Special Investigations Unit have invoked their mandate and will be conducting their own investigation.
680 News Time, 6:36. Toronto police searching for a 72-year-old man who went missing from the area of Morningside and Shepherd Avenues. Justin Powell was last seen on Friday around 9:30 in the morning. He's described as 5'5", around 120 pounds, with a medium complexion, unshaven and wearing glasses. He was last seen wearing a black winter jacket with a black toque, navy pants, gray shoes with red stripes. Anyone with information is asked to contact police.
You're listening to 680 News at 6:35. A somber night in Oshawa as dozens attended the candlelight vigil to honor a local rapper. Malia Sheikh from City News was there.
The vigil was held at the same housing complex where the rap artist, whose real name is Shakur Stewart, was found shot to death in the early morning hours of Christmas Eve. Bully was known for his hit song No Light Bag. He was 24 years old.
He would play with me if I asked him to, even if he wasn't there sometimes. Sometimes I would still love him even if he's not there. And only if I keep him in my heart right here, he's still going to be with me.
Now, no arrests have been made in connection to Bully's murder.
680 News Time, 6:36. They've been features in famous downtown Toronto photos for years, and as of tomorrow, they're officially getting taken off city streets. The TTC's old streetcars are running for the last time this weekend. While the last 6 continue to run along Queen Street today, a winner will be announced in a contest to get a seat on the final ride before the new fleet becomes the norm. The old models have been running in the city for more than 40 years.
Well, no matter where you are in southern Ontario, come tomorrow, things are about to get quite messy, although a massive incoming Texas low is expected to be a rain event for us here in the city of Toronto. The same can't be said for the North GTA and beyond. Those areas could be in for some freezing rain. Our weather specialist, Denise Andriacci, tells us what we're in for.
This is a very strong area of low pressure, and along with the precipitation is the very strong and gusty winds. Sunday through Monday, we are expecting wind gusts anywhere from 30 to 50, even 60 kilometers per hour. So we've got dry conditions today ahead of this massive storm system that's going to be pushing into the province of Ontario.
As for today, your 680 News guaranteed high is 4 degrees.
680 News Time, 6:37. Kazakhstan is observing a day of mourning today for the 12 people killed when a passenger plane carrying 98 crashed just seconds after taking off from one of the country's largest airports. CNN's George Howell has the latest.
Investigators say the aircraft, specifically a Fokker 100 plane, plunged to the ground just seconds into the flight, broke through a concrete barrier, and then hit a two-story building. A committee is investigating what caused that crash, but as a precaution, all Fokker 100 planes in the country have been temporarily grounded.
Investigators have recovered the plane's black boxes. They will now be sent to Moscow to be encrypted.
680 News Time, 6:38.
680 News.
Here in review.
This is Kevin Meisner with a look back on July 10th, the day the OPP nabbed a priest speeding on the 400 highway.
Sounds like a joke.
But it's true, the priest clocked doing 50 kilometers above the posted limit on the 400 highway, telling the OPP officer he had a family waiting for his services at a funeral. Most drivers tell me he can't be absolved for his driving sins just because he's a man of the cloth.
He should be treated like anyone else. I don't see any difference in that. I don't think there's any excuse. Really. I mean, the rules apply to all of us.
He's just another man who broke the law.
He has to be charged. He's racing.
And Julie says good time management is better than speeding, even when God is your co-pilot.
Now he's made himself even later. They're going to do the paperwork. Like, now he's even going to be later.
The priest was ticketed but wasn't given a license suspension or a vehicle impound, according
Why?
to the OPP.
That's mandatory.
Justice was served, but mercy
How
was
the
shown.
fuck did he
the
not
grateful
get-
priest even
Why
giving the
did you just
officer
tell
a
us it's the
blessing
same as
before they parted
everybody?
ways. With the
Tell
year
us
in
you
review,
didn't
I'm
punish
Kevin
him.
Meisner.
Coming up next on 680 News, we'll tell you what you're paying for gas today.
680 News Time, 6:39.
First and fast.
Breaking news when it happens on 680 News.
Over the past 5 years, drivers have killed more than 200 pedestrians and cyclists on the streets of Toronto. That's a 43% increase compared to the previous 5 years. That's brutal. Come on, people. You're driving huge, multi-ton steel vehicles. Put the phone down. Put the coffee down. Put the food down. Keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road. Pay attention before someone else dies. Learn more at toronto.ca/art of distraction. This is a message brought to you by the City of Toronto.
Now, the 680 News gas price update. Enpro says the price of gas did not change at midnight. You'll find it holding this morning at $1.19.9 a liter across most GTA stations. Coming up next, your latest check of traffic and weather together.
680 News Time, 6:40.
This is your breaking news station, 680 News.
Some things just don't fit.
like a car that doesn't suit your lifestyle. That's why Toyota offers the fun-to-drive Corolla with available winter features like heated seats and heated side mirrors. Find the Toyota that's right for you. Lease the 2020 Corolla L for as low as $58 weekly at 2.99% APR for 52 months with $0 down, or finance at 0.49% APR for 36 months. Visit your local Ontario Toyota dealer or shoptoyota.ca. Some conditions apply.
During this holiday season, have you noticed how some homes seem to sparkle more than others? Take a look around. It's probably the lighting. Lighting makes all the difference in a home. It makes the ordinary extraordinary. So why not take advantage of the unbelievable Boxing Week event on now at Lando Lighting, where everything is on sale. You don't want to miss this sale. Up to 50% off selected items. For a massive lighting selection and deep discounts, go now to 210 Clarence Street, Brampton.
680 News Time, 6:41.
It's time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Barb Andrews.
This report brought to you by Leon's. Looking at the 401 heading eastbound, looks good through the 427, 400, past the Allen, even past the 404, just a light drive. You want to keep in mind we do have some road work eastbound 401 east of Broad Street in the left lane. And looks like that closure will be in effect for about a week or so. So just a heads up if that is your route. On the westbound side, westbound 401 looks good. No major issues to pass along. Southbound 404 looks good over the 401 onto the DVP, and westbound Gardner looks good out of downtown. Same story with the westbound QEW. Eastbound QEW moving well through Burlington, Oakville, Mississauga. Eastbound Gardner looks good into downtown. No issues on the northbound DVP. Looks good as you make your way up to the 401 onto the 404. Just a very light drive on our major routes this morning. 427, 403, even the 410. I'll check in trouble free. Leon's Boxing Week sale. Save 60% on a pop-up sofa bed, or up to 65% off Sealy Posturepedic mattresses, plus save on TVs and appliances. Leons.ca. Your next report at 6:51 with the forecast. Here's Denise Andriachi.
Overcast conditions downtown Toronto right now. We are sitting at our guaranteed high of 4 degrees downtown. It's still +2 over at Pearson. We have special weather statements through York, Durham region. We are expecting a big system moving in tomorrow. Rain for much of the GTA, but there's potential for freezing precipitation late Sunday and into the day on Monday with very strong winds. In terms of the rainfall, about 15 to 25 millimeters of rain for both days. Highs tomorrow near about 2 degrees. And they're going to hold steady there even through Sunday night. Monday's temperatures rise to near +5. The guaranteed high today, 4 degrees.
680 News Time, 6:43.
Well, if you've decided to try and lose weight in the new year, a few things may be stacked against you. 680's Jude Benny reports the downside of exercising to lose weight.
Gretchen Reynolds has written about fitness for the New York Times. She says people exercise to lose weight, but
exercise will increase the number of calories that you burn. It will not increase them a huge amount unless you're running marathons.
That means you've got to cut calories too. And exercise will not necessarily give you a beautifully sculpted body either.
Particularly if you didn't choose the right parents, because a lot
like it's an
of
option
anyone
between exercise and no
to
exercise.
as well as to diet is genetic.
Still, she says even low levels of moving will cut your risk of a heart attack and your brain will be healthier. I'm Jim Benton.
Coming up next, a look at this morning's top stories in sports with Calaming Sports at 590 The Fan.
The brain will be healthier. Okay,
24-hour gaming excitement awaits you at Casino Ajax. Test your luck on over 900 of your favorite slot machines and 50 electronic table games. Hungry? We have daily dining specials from 4 to 11 p.m. at spectacular prices, including T-bone steak on Wednesdays, prime rib and 2 lobster tails on Thursdays and Fridays, or shrimp and steak on Sundays. Must be 19 plus. Winner Circle Rewards membership required. If you gamble, play smart.
Casino Ajax.
Have you heard? TSC is celebrating Boxing Day every day from now until New Year's Eve. That means you can take advantage of the biggest markdowns of the year whenever you want without ever going outside. Save up to 65% on clearance items, including fashion, jewelry, beauty, and home products. Plus, all electronics are available with 12 easy pay payments. You won't want to miss a beat during TSC's Boxing Week blowout. Now until New Year's Eve. Shop TSC.ca. Today's shopping choice.
This is All News Radio.
680 News. An overcast sky, it's 4 degrees. Good morning from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Stuart McGinn.
And good morning, I'm Leah Johansson. Here are the top stories this hour.
A double stabbing inside of a Mississauga home near Winston Churchill and Dundas has turned fatal for both victims. Peel police say they are not looking for any suspects in the case as they continue their investigation this morning. And it finally came to a peaceful end, a standoff that lasted nearly 12 hours in Richmond Hill following a shooting between a suspect and York police has resulted in that man being taken into custody.
With a look at your drive, here's Barb Andrews. It continues to be a quiet drive on our major routes this morning. No issues to pass along. Your next report at 6:51.
I'm Denise Andriacci in the 680 News Weather Center. A quiet, mild day weather-wise, but active weather is on the horizon. Your guaranteed high, 4 degrees.
680 News Time, 6:45. It's time for 680 Sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Here's Calaming. The Leafs pushed their win streak to 6 with a 5-4 overtime win in New Jersey. Damon Severson knocked the puck in his own net. William Nylander got credited with his 15th of the season and the OT winner. Forward Ilya Mikheyev suffered what the team called a significant laceration to his wrist and was assessed at a local hospital. The Leafs host the Rangers tonight on Sportsnet 590 The Fan at 6:30. To baseball, the Blue Jays introduced their newest pitcher, and GM Ross Atkins talked about Hyunjin Ryu's character.
The story was already very bright, and we were already extremely encouraged about his influence in clubhouses, his influences on people, him as a man off the field. Everything we had learned just was already very positive and just continued to get better and better. Reached out to teammates before and after the sign, and the story has remained the same.
And as a baseball player, Ryu is very good. With the LA Dodgers last season, he went 14-5 and made an all-star appearance. The Blue Jays will pay him $80 million over 4 years. Sports at 15:45, past every hour or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid, now on radio and TV. Sportsnet 590, The Fan. 680 News Time, 6:47.
Weather forecast you can bank on, because if we're off by more than 3 degrees,
you can win our growing cash jackpot. The 680 News Weather Guarantee. Enter online at 680news.com.
You know what's crazy? Not using smarter tools to manage your small business. You work too hard to work this hard. Collecting receipts? Is this the 80s?
QuickBooks gives you a smarter set of business tools that do all the hard work for you. You may work for yourself, but you don't have to go at it alone.
It's easier than rewinding a VHS before returning it.
You earned it. We're here to make sure you get it. And for a limited time, save 70% when you buy Intuit QuickBooks. QuickBooks, backing you. Visit QuickBooks.ca for full offer details.
If I told you there are as many as 2,000 homeless youth in our city each night, would you care?
What if I told you most of them have suffered from abuse and neglect? Then would you care? What if I told you many feel safer on the street than they do at home? Now do you care? What if I told you really need your help?
how young do they need to be before you care? Donate $8 a month to Covenant House Toronto and provide homeless kids with a warm bed, hot meal, and a better future. Visit covenanthousetoronto.ca to donate.
680 News Time, 6:48. As wildfires continue to rage across parts of Australia, fears about what the disaster means for one of the country's most beloved animals are now being realized. CNN's Natalie Allen reports.
Australia's Environment Minister saying on Friday up to 30% of koalas in the country's New South Wales region may have been killed in the ongoing fires. The region's Port Macquarie Koala Hospital has admitted more than 300 of these adorable animals so far this year. But the hospital's director says the support from the public has been equally overwhelming. The hospital has received over $2 million in donations on a GoFundMe page site.
The amount of visitors that are here at the Koala Hospital over the last 5 to 6 weeks has been phenomenal.
The government says it's working with koala experts, and $6 million has been set aside to help save and rehab them.
A new heat wave is expected to hit huge swaths of Australia into next week, with fears that higher winds could fan the already raging fires. A Thailand Navy SEAL who helped rescue 12 boys in a cave last summer Scott.
Petty Officer First Class Beirut Pakbara, a SEAL in the Royal Thai Navy, was part of a team of expert divers who guided 12 boys and their soccer coach from a flooded cave on special stretchers. Officer Pakbara died of a blood infection contracted during the difficult operation. According to an announcement on the Thai Navy SEAL's Facebook page, he was receiving treatment, but his condition worsened after the infection spread into his blood. Pakbara was buried Friday in the southern Satun province. He's the second Navy diver who lost his life in the high-profile 2018 operation. Todd Ant, ABC News.
680 News Time, 6:49. Now the automotive report with Tim Demopoulos.
Roomy and comfortable with tons of accessible cargo space thanks to its hatchback versatility, the Arteon is Volkswagen's brand new offering in the large sedan segment. All-wheel drive and a powerful 268 horsepower 2-liter 4 gives you plenty of sure-footed power. When cruising, the Arteon is quiet and refined and geared towards comfort. The roomy cabin offers straightforward and crisp design with a very user-friendly and responsive infotainment system and excellent seating. Available only in the top-end exec line trim, the Arteon starts at just under $48,000, which is a bit pricey, but it's a nice and practical sedan alternative to a large SUV. With the automotive report, I'm Tim Demopoulos.
Traffic and weather together coming up next. 680 News Time, 6:50. I'm Scott McGilvery. Selling a home can be complicated. In Toronto, I trust Frank Leo to get you top dollar for your most prized possession. His industry-leading marketing strategy gives your home maximum exposure. Go to GetLeo.com today. That's GetLeo.com and start packing.
There's still time to go extra rounds at 2001 Audio Video's biggest and best Boxing Week sale. There's still inventory reduced to the absolute lowest price ever and amazing door crashers. So hurry in for the best selection. From wireless and audio products to 4K smart TVs with 2-year warranty, many below cost. 2001 with the guaranteed lowest Boxing Week price.
When it comes to getting the most money for your home in Toronto, I trust the industry-leading marketing strategy of Frank Leo. I'm Scott McGilvery. Selling a home doesn't have to be complicated. Get what your home is worth. Go to GetLeo.com today. That's GetLeo.com and start packing. 680 News Time, 6:51. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Barb Andrews.
And this report is brought to you by Aero Furniture. Continues to be a nice drive this morning. Looking at our major routes at last check, no issues to pass along. Just some construction on the eastbound 401. It's going to be there for about a week. Eastbound 401 east of Brock Street, a left lane closed for repair work. Outside of that, though, eastbound 401 in good shape. Same story with the westbound 401. That is running smoothly. 404 DVP, no issues top to bottom. On the Gardner, we do have long-term road work. Both directions on the Gardner between the DVP and York down to 2 lanes, then westbound Gardner ramp to Jarvis closed for that long-term road work. Looking at the QEW, that is a smooth drive through Mississauga, Oakville, Burlington. The 403 looks good, 410, and same story with the 427, no issues to pass along. Don't miss it. Save up to 70% at Aero Furniture's Boxing Week blowout now through Sunday while quantities last. Find out more at aerofurniture.com. That's aerofurniture.com. Your next report at 7:01 with the forecast. Here's Denise Andriachi.
Well, it is mostly cloudy this morning. We'll see a few peaks of sunshine here and there through the day. Mainly cloudy and -1 overnight with a wind chill of -6. A big area of low pressure will impact the Great Lakes tomorrow and Monday, and looks like on Tuesday as well, just some lingering effects. So tomorrow starts off with some rain, highs near about +2, so really close to the freezing mark. Some of the higher elevations, the northern eastern edges of the GTA, under special weather statements right now for this freezing rain potential. We've also got strong winds expected late Sunday and through the day on Monday. Mostly showers on Monday as temperatures climb just a wee bit to near +5. And then once most of the active weather kind of passes through, behind it we're going to pull in some colder air. Chance of flurries Monday night. Still a bit of instability lingering Tuesday on New Year's Eve. We could see some flurries on most of the day, traced to maybe 2 centimeters and highs near 2 degrees. Right now downtown we're sitting at your guaranteed high +4.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Scotia iTrade. Direct invest with Scotia iTrade. Get up to $1,500 cash and $6.99 pricing or up to 500 free equity trades. Details at scotiaitrade.com/winter20.
Coming up at 7, the latest on a fatal double stabbing in Mississauga early this morning involving 2 men. Peel Police telling us as they continue to investigate, they aren't looking for any suspects.
At Sicily Honda, our family wants your family to bring home a little joy during our our Bring Home a Honda event. Come in during Boxing Week for our best deals of the year and receive a 55-inch TV or 1,000 air miles reward miles with your purchase. All inventory has been reduced, and yes, we need your trade-in. There's also a draw each hour to win a trip to Vegas. Conditions apply. Go to SicilyHonda.com for details and visit Sicily Honda, 88 Steeles Avenue, just west of Young.
Hey, smart speaker. Play what I need to know. Did you mean 680 News?
This holiday season, 680 News wants to help pay off those holiday bills with the 680 News
Streaming Secret.
Stream 680 News daily on your smart speaker or any streaming device for the secret code word of the week.
When you hear it, enter the weekly code for your chance to win $2,500 cash.
For more money, the 680 News Streaming Secret.
Exclusively on your smart speaker and streaming devices. For details, visit 680news.com/secret.
60 seconds from now, your weekend business report, 680 News Time, 6:55. It's Boxing Week at Rona and Lowe's. Right now, get 5 times the Air Miles reward miles on purchases of $100 or more before tax. So if you forgot to get your loved ones those power tools they really wanted for Christmas, awesome! Or that electric fireplace they wished for,
You do really love me.
now you'll get 5 times the Air Miles reward miles with your purchase. Hurry into a Rona or Lowe's store to take advantage of this limited time Air Miles offer. Ends December 31st. Terms and conditions apply. Details in store.
Need window inspiration? Then you need to speak to the experts. Hi, I'm Tom Rokiki of Inline Fiberglass Windows and Doors. Our window experts are experienced in working with architects, builders, and homeowners to ensure your vision becomes a reality. So whether you're replacing your old windows or building your dream home, dream the dream with Inline Fiberglass. If you can dream it, we can build it. Visit our Factory Direct showroom, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or inlinefiberglass.com.
680 News Time, 6:56. Now the weekend business report.
I'm Carl Garnash. 2020 is fast approaching, and Canadians are being encouraged to build a future-focused retirement plan. Todd Sigurdsson, Director of Tax and Estate Planning at IG Wealth Management, says the plan of the future requires a solid foundation in traditional RRSP and TFSA contributions.
If you're in a fairly high tax bracket while you're working and you expect to be in a lower tax bracket in your retirement years, an RRSP makes sense to start with. Whereas if you're in a lower tax bracket while you're working and you're going to be in a similar or higher tax bracket in retirement, then a TFSA might be the best place to start. But in a perfect world, you'd be able to contribute the maximum amount to both your RRSP and TFSA. Is that would provide the most bang for your buck.
For those collecting old age security or OAS, it's important to understand the tax recovery structure. Sigurdsson says the benefit can be clawed back for every dollar of income over $77,580.
That really increases their so-called effective marginal tax rate in retirement, because you're essentially getting an immediate 15% tax for every dollar of OAS that ends up being clawed back. So if possible, it would be a well-structured income plan would keep you below that threshold.
If you're a small or medium-sized business owner,
fucking lose my mind on this
planning
shit,
strategy
man.
is an individual pension plan.
That allows
You ruined 20 fucking minutes of work. Thank you.
for retirement on a tax-deferred basis with
Fucking just ruined 20 minutes of work like it's nothing. Thank you.
for their future, so they can accrue savings to a pension which is held outside of the company. So it not only is it a retirement savings plan, but it's protected from creditors because it's not an asset of the company per se.
Once again, I'm
Todd
too
Sigurdsson
fucking
is the
stupid
Director
to
of
know how
Tax
to
and
use
Estate
my own
Planning at
equipment.
IG
I've
Wealth
been using it for
Management.
fucking
At the
years.
Business Center, I'm Carl Garnash.
Must be something I fucking do, right?
Catherine Chakay.
Weekday mornings starting at 5:30.
This is 680
These
News.
people ain't got
It's the
fuck
daily
all
grind
for us,
feeling
and I
like,
got nothing
well,
for any of
I'm
y'all.
right.
So.
Make a change. Come to the Franchise Expo, January 11th and 12th at the Metro Toronto Convention Center, and take